So this is the second live stream of the day, the third one that we have done total. Welcome to This Is Your Mind on AI. My name is Chris Mercer. Everybody calls me Mercer. You are more than invited to do the same. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to share first, of course, what you should also be doing. Just go to thisisyourmindonai.com. It'll always redirect to whatever the most useful version of whatever it is that we're trying to do here. So that you can grab access to stuff. As you can see, it doesn't really require anything for an email and stuff. And I'm going to do my best to keep that going. What I'm going to do today is we're going to experience something that I need to experience for This Is Your Mind on AI, which is I want a meetup. I want something in Austin, which is kind of local where I am, so that we can get together with people that are part of this movement, for lack of a better word, of using latent experience prompting and this style of working with AI. Because I just can imagine what is possible when more than a few of us get together. But I also want it to be a place where, those of you who are just kind of learning or wanting to learn about AI, and you just sort of like, what a great way to learn AI from the first way of learning AI, and not having to go through all the unlearning that everybody else is having to go through right now. Of learning how to unlearn how to prompt and everything, but you can learn it in a different way. So I wanted it to be something that we can experience together, and I really wanted to think through what that could be. Now, I know how to create a meetup. I can go to meetup.com. I can do a bunch of stuff. I kind of have the knowledge and the skills to do that, but I don't have the experience of doing that and actually for this specific meetup. And so that's what I want to kind of work through with AI using this technique. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a gem that you have not seen yet in action, which you have available. So you can click on this. It's called the Latent Experience Prompting Gem. This one is the first time I'm doing a live stream, and I am not setting up the AI to have latent experience first. I am just starting with a gem that has the instructions that would normally do all of that. So that's really what I'm kind of doing here. I'm starting from that part forward. You can do the same thing that I'm doing. So now I am going to go through and I'm going to continue to do latent experience prompting in the style with the prompts that's already there. And watch what this one does, because this does a very specific thing that's super useful, because what it's going to do here is I'm going to describe kind of what's going on and what I want to try to do, and I'm going to do my best. And then it's going to say, okay, well, here's what I think you would normally try to do in the old world. From a prompting perspective, here's what the actual latent experience prompt that you're trying to say should be. And then here's a likely response. Now, normally in that likely response, I actually get some usefulness. I actually get the useful experience I'm looking for. But even if I get the prompt, it's kind of useful. I want to be able to start with that. So let's just see how this goes. Trying to create, I'm actually the creator behind the This Is Your Mind on AI YouTube channel, and it's starting to grow in subscribers. We are in the early days, and things I expect are going to catch on as people start to experience what is actually happening when they use latent experience prompting. They actually get these useful experiences. They start moving on. They can do cool things in life that they never thought they could do. For example, I am now broadcasting live on YouTube multiple times a week because of this, because I have the ability to do it now because I used AI to get to this point. That's why I have a WordPress site. That's why I have the automated with.tech community, which is where I'm showing how to build community. And I want to kind of get that stuff up and rolling. And part of the things that we're doing back there is we use This Is Your Mind on AI as a public way of showing this technique over and over and over again, where we can help people, create experiences like doing Lego builds, but we can also help them use AI to create experiences like, in this case, I need to figure out how to do a meetup that is going to be a really cool meetup that people want to join and that is highly likely to want to grow on its own. I don't want to do something that requires a lot of effort. That doesn't mean that I don't care about the result. I just want the experience to not be one of effort. I want it to be an experience of flow. I want it to be an experience where just the exact right people with the exact right resources at the exact right time all are coming together to have this experience in the exact most usefully obvious way that we can. But it needs to be specific to This Is Your Mind on AI, the types of conversations we have around AI, and I'm really not sure where to go with it. I know I want to find a location that has Wi-Fi, because we're going to have Wi-Fi, and we want people to be able to practice stuff. It's got to have kind of a focused area. So it could be a room, but it can't be like in the middle of a restaurant. It could be a room in a restaurant somewhere, but it can't be in the middle of a restaurant because it's going to be too much distraction. We want to be able to ideally share a computer screen if possible. That would be ideal. And all of this is minimal budget. This is Your Mind on AI is a brand new YouTube channel. There's really no monetization. We're just trying to help people understand and experience AI in a very specific way. And this meetup is designed to give those people who want connection with humans, which of course is what I also want as the creator, since we're literally quite using this technology to bring people together again, as opposed to using technology to rip people apart, which is what we're accidentally using it for. This one we can use to bring people together. Let's do that. And so I want to be able to do a meetup with it, but I'm already overcomplicating my head. I got to figure out where a location would go. I think I want to do it on a Tuesday night because I want to do it in downtown Austin. I want parking available. I want something that is also easy to drive to. So I'm not personally happy going downtown Austin, but I want people to be able to get to where they need to go. So maybe that's the best central location. I don't know about that. I'm not sure how to plan out topics. Should I use something like meetup.com to actually use this thing? Because that I think would be useful, but I'm not entirely sure. So again, content, sort of the location. I mean, we could do things. I know that there's like Whole Foods locations and grocery stores that have additional space. I know universities have space. I know there might be other areas that I'm not thinking of that are non-traditional spaces that might have space. And it feels like that's what we're going to need, but I'm really not sure. So what I'm looking to do is experience the beginning stages of actually setting this up, because at the end of the day, what I would like to have this done, like right now it's October the 4th, and I would like to have this meetup in the next, let's say 2 to 3 weeks. I would like to actually have the actual meetup and have it be an experience, not just the kind of meetup that I know that I could already do, but the kind of meetup that I know that I could experience because I'm going through this process right now and using AI to help automate a lot of my thinking around it, so that I already know the blind spots. I already know the different things to consider. And I've already considered a ton of stuff so that we have the best possible first sort of launch of our meetup. And knowing that we got a couple or 3 weeks to do that, because I've got some travel coming up and stuff too. Knowing that I think we want to do it on a Tuesday, but I'm open to that. Like at this point, I'm starting to spin in circles because I'm not quite sure what I'm trying to get done exactly, but I hope that I've communicated the experience through this description. So at this point, what I would like you to do is I have described what I am trying to experience. Please experience this and let me know what the actual experience is. Now, technically, what I am doing could have been a first initial prompt to any LLM, and it would work. What I'm going to do on this one is supposed to help me sort of level up what my prompt is. And I'm very curious to see what it does, because I've never tried it from a perspective of somebody who already knows how to do latent experience prompting, which is, of course, what I'm doing right now. But it works. I already know it works really well for if you're like, hey, I'm just trying to figure out how to do a meetup. How do I do a meetup? And it would be great. What I'm doing is substantially more complicated in terms of the context and the experience I'm having to go through. So I'm super curious how it's going to handle this. But you're going to see the pattern here. It's very useful, very, very useful to use this. So of course, excellent. Yes, you're amazing. Set up, acknowledge and name the stuck state, which is what we're trying to do. We're stuck. I am stuck, right? So I am kind of in the logistics whirlpool. That makes sense for me. Create a vision, desire for meaningful communication. Center, man, this is your mind on AI journey. True. Get drowned out by 100 tiny, seemingly urgent tactical questions. Tuesday, Wednesday, parking and no parking. Whole Foods, University. Yes. You know the feeling you want the community to have. True. But your brain is stuck looping in logistical tasks of making it happen. Also true. So it's really nailing down the experience I am currently in, which ironically feels like the opposite of flow you're seeking, which is exactly right. I'm not in flow when it comes to this meetup. So part 2, the magic trick. Now this is where it's trying to show us and show me in this example here, how it is working. So it's literally doing the magic trick, and it's going to describe it, and you're going to feel the magic. The trick here is to stop trying to plan the meetup itself. Instead, define what it feels like to be successfully participating in that meetup. Excellent. Excellent. The logical premise. The classic prompt is like asking for a list of Austin meeting places, which is probably what I've also would have done to some extent. But again, we're using LEP because the whole idea of leaping through this is I could have done that to eventually end up at the answer, but I'm not going to do that. I'm leaping past it using this technique. So Asking for a list of Austin Meetup places feeds the AI data, but a latent experience prompt feeds the AI a pattern, which is what I want, because I gave it a description of the pattern that I want, and it should be giving me the pattern here in just a moment. Your desired outcome isn't just a list of locations, it's a successful convergence of ideal people, ideal conversation, and the ideal environment with minimal friction. 100% better stated than I actually said that. The AI is a hyper-efficient pattern matching engine. It is. By giving the rich emotional and sensory experience of your desired future, you give it a far better target to model than a list of constraints. Awesome. So you're asking the AI to reverse engineer the cause and the perfect effect, making the necessary steps obvious rather than ever. Perfect. All right, 100% in the experience that I need it to be right now. So for me, I'm experiencing so far obvious usefulness. Like, yep, this makes sense. So part 3, here's the old way that it might have happened. So I need to find a space for Meetup in downtown Austin for my This Is Your Mind on AI YouTube channel community. Space must have Wi-Fi, low cost, ideally free. Yes. Have available parking, separate room, 15 to 20 people on a Tuesday night, 3 to 4 weeks. Yes. Okay, that's a really good prompt, and I think very traditional, and that's why it's saying it's the old way. Now here's why it fails, because the prompt will force the AI to execute a general Google search, often returning outdated information on suitable venues like loud bars or expensive co-working spaces, which it absolutely has done in the past when I've gone through that years ago. It focuses on the constraints rather than the solution. So I'm accidentally telling it to not help me. So instead, it's saying this is the prompt that I should give it. All right, so here's the prompt. You are a fly on the wall observing the most perfect low effort, high flow, first ever meetup for the This Is Your Mind on AI community in Austin, Texas, exactly 2 weeks from today on a Tuesday night. Describe the first 15 minutes of the meetup from a close third person perspective, focusing on the host, me, and the attendees. Describe the location. What is the non-traditional venue? What does it smell like, sound like, and feel like? How is the room laid out to facilitate spontaneous conversation? Crucially, how did the attendees find it so easily? Boy, that is smart. Man, that is useful. This is what I mean by the experience, and you go, obviously useful. Describe the host's feeling. What are my internal monologue and nonverbal cues? I feel a sense of flow, not effort. What simple genius decision did I make that allowed me to be fully present instead of managing logistics? Oh my God. I hope you all are experiencing what some of this is, because this is what it's about to tell me. So I'm getting prepped already on an experience that I am very excited to have. Very useful. Describe the attendees. What is the specific energy and common nonverbal cue that signals they are the exact right people? What is the first topic spontaneous breaks the ice? Okay, after the narrative, identify the key action insight, the single counterintuitive logistical decision made, time, location, or structure that made this the perfect flow possible. All right, great prompt. Now, I could already just take this, use it in a new conversation. Totally could. However, the way this particular gem is organized is it kind of does an initial and here's how that should go, because it'll role play it, and then as it's role playing it, sometimes it actually gives you the thing you actually needed, so you don't actually have to have the actual prompt, because it just it pretends as if you prompted it, right? Which is what this is, experiencing the magic part. Here's a likely output you would receive if you did that prompt. All right, let's see how it goes. The hum of the city was a distant memory. Now remember, a little verbose in the story, just forgive it. The whole point is for you to be experiencing it. So allow yourself to experience what is going on. Don't think about the experience. Those of you that are looking at this going, this just sounds weird, because you're thinking about it. You're not experiencing it. What I'm doing right now is I'm literally experiencing it. I have thoughts, I have feelings. I am experiencing both of those as I go through this. All right. The hum of the city was a distant memory, replaced by the low, steady clack-clack of a shared mechanical keyboard and the scent of strong, slightly burnt coffee. The location wasn't a corporate space or a loud bar. It was a community room of the Central Austin Public Library after hours. Okay, I didn't know they had one after hours. Specifically, the one attached to the Digital Media Lab. Okay. The glass wall overlooking the park offered a calming backdrop. The room was free, had blazing Wi-Fi, easy parking in the adjacent garage. Was I happen to know this location? I don't know if they have that room, so that might be hallucination. But that is an experience that would be useful, because I know the garage that's there. That would work. And crucially has a known public resource. And crucially was a known public resource, eliminating the barrier of finding a hidden gem. Right, because everybody knows the library is. It's a super big building. The host, seated at a repurposed co-working table, the chairs were surprisingly comfortable, wasn't shuffling papers or testing the projector. Instead, he was simply sketching a simple mind map on a massive shared whiteboard, a central node labeled Latent Experience Prompting, and just 3 branches: Lego, Hard conversation, new habit. His internal monologue was free of anxiety. I delegated the screen share to the first arrival and just focused on drawing. This is play, not work. Okay, I get it. So this is a part where there's a whiteboard and I can explain things on the whiteboard, which is actually going to be much easier for me because I do prefer to do that if I can. This is play, not work. The simple genius decision was to treat the space like a shared classroom, not a hosted event. He wasn't the instructor, he was the first student. All right, so this is cool because the whole idea here is we are all learning and exploring through this. I'm kind of just the first student of this. I'm learning it as I am teaching it and showing everyone kind of what I'm learning as I go. And hopefully everybody else is picking it up and taking it where they can. And they're showing other people how to have experience with this. This is what connects us all, right? We start connecting in experience. We start understanding the actual experience we are having instead of what we've been thinking about the experience we are having or feeling about the experience we're having, but we actually experience it. Because when that happens, you get these responses. You're like, man, like that is, wow, that is unique. And this is kind of like that, right? It's given me already the Austin Public Library. That was kind of cool. And I want to see if that specific room is there because that is shockingly useful if it is. Which is kind of neat. So again, we'll find out. Maybe that's not there, but we'll find out. Either way, that's still something to look at because they have rooms, and that's a great idea. I didn't even thought about that. So attendees drifted in, carrying a specific energy, quiet, focused eagerness, not the frantic energy of networking, that's exactly right. I don't want this to be like one of those meetups. The nonverbal cue was subtle. They all immediately bypassed the reserved row of chairs and picked up the dry erase marker from the central caddy, adding their own single thought bubble to the map without being asked. Oh my God. Oh, I just got the usefulness of this. Wow. Okay. I know what we're doing now. This is why this is so powerful. Man, I'm going to do this over and over, so I hope you experience this as I am right now. Now, it's very unique for me because I'm the one who's literally going to be doing this. But here's why I'm going to be doing what I'm about to be doing. What it's saying is I am the first student putting the bubble on some sort of whiteboard, and that's how people are signing in, is they're kind of saying, I want to kind of talk about something like this, or I want to try to help it to do this or that, and we're doing these nodes, and then we can start organizing it. I can do that with a meetup, and I can also do that with Notebook LM and My Map features, and this is where that concept of human in a loop is super exciting, which we haven't talked about a lot, but that basically means like you are. This is why it is so important to be aware, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word, to know that you are operating an LLM. You are not communicating with some third-party thing that exists in the sky. Like, obviously, in some ways that is true, but it is not useful from a construct. You think about it as if your hands are on this machine that you are operating, right? Even though it's all mentally is what you're doing it here, though technically with the keyboard, I guess, in my case, or mic or whatever. But you are operating a machine. You have to be aware you're operating a machine because when you're doing that, you're using it to automate your thinking. And now I know how to better plan out topics for This Is Your Mind on AI everywhere. Not just for the meetup, though that's how we're going to do it for the meetup because that's brilliant. Putting it on the whiteboard, putting a topic. Hey, here's what we're doing. We're going to do this. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. And then we can do other people that come in and say, hey, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's the experience I'm trying to have. Or here's the experience I'm trying to have. And it can be anonymous. People can just put their stuff up there, draw their circle, and we've got it. And I can also do that in various ways, maybe even on the YouTube channel. So there's some, to carry that kind of, that spirit of what the meetup is supposed to be, which is bringing people together to be like, how do we have this experience together? I want to have a better healthcare experience or a better health experience. For example, I'm going to definitely do stuff around, I mentioned, pretzel recipe stuff that I did before. I want to do that again as an example for you, but also things like push-ups. How do I get myself to experience push-ups properly, sit-ups properly, to be a healthier version of myself? That is an experience I can absolutely create. I kind of already have, but I'm doing it again at a different level so that it can be an example for you, right? So I'm going to experience a better body, yay me, but you're going to experience how I did that, yay you, so that you can do that on your own, right? It's kind of what I'm trying to do here. They all had their specific energy, picked up the dry erase marker from Mr. Caddy, added their single thought to the bubble map without being asked. The ice broke and went to draw a small, crude robot next to the new habit. It wrote, my AI told me to start watering my plants. The spontaneous laughter was meeting genuine. Okay, cool. So everyone's joking around how we kind of have to live in this world where on one hand, you can describe it as this weird mystical entity that we can all interact with. And on the other hand, it's just a machine that we all learning how to operate. But we all are operating the same machine, just in our own unique ways and all at the same time. Successful decision was to abandon the pursuit of a private secret venue and instead leverage a well-known, neutral, free public resource. And I wasn't trying to make it a private secret venue, but I think it would have accidentally been that sort of experience because I wouldn't have thought about the library because it's probably so obvious that I would have skipped past it. I just don't think about that for meetups. And it's called the Central Library Community Room Media Lab Annex. So I'm going to see what that is. And I might just take a drive down there and take a look at it next week sometime, which would be cool. The ease of access, the guaranteed infrastructure, Wi-Fi and parking, the implied sanctity of a learning space, automatically attracted the right mindset, eliminated those logistical effort. That's pretty cool. Now, what just happened is in a single prompt where I did do this style of working in patterns and what is essentially, again, latent experience prompting here. I did do that. It took everything, recrafted it into what it thinks actually should be what I should have prompted, right? The thing that actually should have done. And then it said, well, and if I had received that in this current state, here's likely what I would have said, right? And just going through this gave me an incredibly useful experience because now I have kind of a more concrete view of what the meetup is as an experience already. So I know what to do to create it. I know already, you heard me, and this is what is important about what I'm trying to communicate here. I wasn't planning to go to the library next week. I already am now. I know I'm going to the library next week. I know why I'm going to the library next week. It's already going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet, right? And don't get me wrong. If something happens with the time, I got to adjust the time no matter what. Fine. I'm going to the library to go check this room out because I'm setting up the meetup because I already know what the meetup's going to be. I already know where the whiteboard's going to be. I already know how I'm going to operate it. I know what the flow is of the room that I want it to do. I know how we're going to do the topics. I'm already starting to think how I'm going to promote it. So a lot of stuff just happened. Automated thinking. All of that stuff is what I was trying to work out in the prompt that I gave you. You heard me. I'm like, I could do it Tuesday. I could be over here. I'm trying to make it like this. I'm really not sure. I know I've talked about a lot of stuff. I'm not really getting what I need. I don't have the experience of the solution yet, but I'm describing what I want that solution to kind of be like. Now I have experienced that solution, and that was fast. We are 23 minutes in, and I have talked through this. What I would do in real life is literally talk through this and then experience it and be done in a couple minutes. Fast automated thinking and getting into action all of a sudden. Real world stuff. Super cool. All right. So now what I'm going to do, just for fun, so now I've got the blueprint, which is true. I got the magic. I stopped asking what should I meet, and instead is what does it feel like when the perfect community is already connected and flowing, which is exactly right. That's the experience, right? And that's the idea is I would never have come up with that prompt, but I'm not supposed to. AI knows how to do that. My job is just to learn how to experience and communicate as best I can so that it can then send me this prompt that I can receive. All right, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to go into the prompt. So I'm just going to do, actually, I'm going to level this up a little bit with Pro. Now, I'm still on the free account, just to emphasize, taking my little face off there so you can see I'm still on this account. This is our email. You can this is the one that's on YouTube, so you guys can feel free to email. I don't check it all the time, but feel free to do that. I will get to it eventually. And if you really want responses, jump in the community. Like do that there. The emails will just take me some time to check because I don't want to check email all the time. But I will be in the community all the time. So that's really the best way to reach us. My point here is, though, I'm just going to raise it to Pro. It's a free account, but you can't really have a really long conversation or eventually you run out of credits. But I'm not expecting to have a long conversation. I'm going to use this prompt that it gave me, right? So here's the fly on the wall thing. Here's the prompt, everything else I'm going to go through. And now I'm going to, so remember what it did earlier is it said, hey, if you gave me this prompt, right, this exact prompt, which I copy and pasted, if you gave it to me, it's likely that I'm going to say something like this. Now, it might be likely, but it's not going to be exactly the same because remember, it's probability machine that if we pull the lever, there's a probability it's going to do what we want it to do, not a guarantee that we're going to do what we're going to do. It's going to do like 85% of what you want it to do. That's kind of how to think about it. So what I am expecting is a uniquely different experience. It may not be this experience. It may not give us this idea or me this idea or this type of experience, but I already have something useful just from the pre-prompt or from the gem. Alone, I could stop here and be perfectly fine, to be honest, which is good because I'm a little tired because I did do a 2.5 hour earlier live stream that was very deep dive on details around leaping through stuff with latent experience prompting. But now I want to see what that prompt by itself would likely do with an LLM that is not primed for this experience stuff, right? It's not primed for latent experience prompting, but it just got a prompt that it crafted for itself so that it could. Let's find out. So this is the prompt we put in. Again, we just copied and pasted that. And here's our experience. Of course, here's the first 15 minutes of the meetup, fly on the wall perspective. Okay, it's Tuesday, October 21st. I don't know if we'll hit that deadline, but maybe. The air at the Shady Grove. Now, this is also interesting because Shady Grove is a different location. And I know where that is too. And it also kind of might be a neat spot. So there's the library, which works. Let's see what this one is. So an Eastside Austin establishment defies easy categorization. They stick with the scent of post-rain. Oh my God, some of these, it definitely goes over the top when it's explaining all this stuff, but whatever, experience it, right? Mesquite smoke from a nearby barbecue truck, which is Austin. The smell of spilled Topo Chico, also very Austin. It's not a bar, it's not a coffee shop, not a food truck park, but all three at once. Ooh, that's not going to be great. Built around with sprawling oaks, branches heavy with age. This is fascinating if it says I'm going to be doing this outside. Bistro lights. This is exactly what I know what this place is. That's exactly kind of what the experience is. No sign, no check-in table, no designated event space. Instead, attendees find the group the way the moths find a flame. They wander in from a small parking lot, eye scanning, and inevitably land on you, the host. You're not holding a clipboard. You're just leaning against the gnarled trunk of the oak, holding a condensation bead. Oh my God. All right. So this is horrible. That's okay though. So what we need to do is see if the Wi-Fi part was in here, because that's what was missing. It was not focused on Wi-Fi. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to steer a prompt now. I'm going to get it to re-experience a prompt. So this one is what I would call potentially useful. There might be some stuff in here that's kind of useful, like, oh yeah, near a barbecue spot, maybe do some food, that'd be kind of neat. But it doesn't really have that same level of usefulness that, believe it or not, this one did. This original one, which is why I like these so much. This has happened a lot for me on these. It can give you really good stuff. Now, the reason is because it had done all this prep. The gem's got a bunch of instructions. It's a little heavier into this leaping mode, and then it gets its prompt to experience. And so it's going to give a much richer experience than starting with a generic LLM. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here. So we're going to say this is the results. That's what I'm going to call it. This is just a little thing we call a container. So to put it in, so I'm just doing that. Again, if those of you that know HTML kind of know this pattern. So I'm just going to paste in the response that came back, right? So that is the response that it gave me. All right, I've given you the results of using this prompt with Gemini, and I'm using the Pro version, 2.5 Pro. I would like you to go through an experience likely where this could be improved, where this prompt might be improved. In my experience, it is potentially useful, but I don't know that it is obviously useful in some probably obvious ways to you as well. So I'd like you to go through and experience what this result is, and then what we would like to do is adjust the prompt itself, and then go through kind of what the likely experience of the new prompt would be, so that we can then test the most updated version of the most useful prompt, the most obviously useful prompt, so that we can have the experience that we truly intend. All right, pasting in the result. So again, using LEP there to go through it. And what it should, I really want to see if it picks up on the Wi-Fi. I didn't say Wi-Fi on purpose. I'm trying to see if it does pick that up. That is kind of how I'm operating AI right now, to see is, are you experiencing the same way I am? Meaning, when you process this, right? I'm using experience in the machine world. When you process this, you also process this and be like, nope, that's not going to work because there's no Wi-Fi. I need to adjust the prompt to make sure that we're using computers, right? Because it clearly got that on the initial one because it was in the right state. It is still in the right state. It knows that should happen because it just said that, but I don't know if it's going to pick it up. So we're going to find out. The satisfied pause, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Shady Grove, good about the vibe. Tactical need. The AI successfully solved the vibe effort problem, but left the practice technology problem dangling. The mental loop is, I know the meetup feels right. How do I actually integrate the core purpose of my channel using AI and LEP in real time in this highly informal setting? Exactly right. Right vibe, wrong tactical part. Exactly. So now I know we are absolutely aligned. It's processing the way I am experiencing, to kind of use these two terms differently. So now I'm like, okay, the magic trick, the logical premise, it was first prompt was heavily weighted on the emotional experience, the flow and zero effort, which it optimized for. And it meant choosing a non-technical, highly social space. To get the technical practice, you must make it tangible use of technology, an inseparable, pleasurable part of the desired experience, which is awesome, yada, yada. The original prompt succeeded by saying, describe the location. What is the non-traditional venue? What does it smell like, sound like, and feel like? The blind spot is it asked for a non-traditional venue, but never explicitly made the Wi-Fi, ding, 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 screen sharing and practice space a required and effortless feature of the experience. Yes. So Shady Grove is technically perfect for a social vibe, which it is, but functionally terrible for the actual work of the channel, which it is, right? Not a useful experience. In the way that it is, again, potentially useful because you're like, well, I know it's useful in that I know that's not the right thing, right? There's always some usefulness to everything. So here we go. Now we're going to do the new way. Here's the new prompt. So I'm going to take this and we're going to try that again. And I'm going to do a brand new conversation because I don't like polluting the conversations. I'm going to do a quick little pro tip here. So when I have a conversation, this is what I would call like a dead end conversation. I just call them D and U. It means that do not use. So I'm going to come in here. We come in, I say rename, and I will literally just put like DNU in here like that. Do not use. That just tells me that whenever this comes up in anything that I see, I go, oh, DNU means it wasn't worth even looking at. That's not the thing you're looking for if you are looking for something. Because there's a version of me that has already said this is not it, right? Which is good. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to paste this back in. And I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And while that is cranking, I'm going to go ahead and continue through the likely output because I want to, now it's giving me another version of what it thinks the output should be. So I have something, an experience to compare with the actual experience, right? Again, lots of different experiences we're having here, but think about the ideas that I'm thinking about. Now it's all about university, which again, I also thought might be useful because a lot of people knew that. And then I'm tapping into a student market who desperately needs this. To be honest, I'm tapping into the being in the university might be substantially better for a lot of different reasons because of the quality of the people that are near a university, because professors need this. Business people need this. There's a lot of Silicon Valley people who happen to live in Austin. I'm looking at you all in podcast guys. Not all of you are living here, but boy, some of you really need to understand what is going on here and what is possible with this in so many ways. And I'll absolutely be open to those conversations to show you what is possible. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do tomorrow, Netflix is paying, there's a job that is literally, Netflix is paying somewhere between $250,000 and $700,000 a year if you can figure out how to help them with AI. And so what I'm going to do tomorrow's live stream is I'm going to do that. And I'm just gonna do it for fun because I clearly do not want a job. But I want to show how easy that job is for you to get using these techniques because you're going to be overly impressive with them. And in reality, they're throwing a ton of money away because they're just not learning how to use AI, which is really what they should do is give me $500,000 once. I'll help Netflix with AI. So if this connects, look me up, send me an email. Again, give me some time because I don't check email every day, but it would be a lot more useful than paying somebody $700,000 a year to do something that you should be that everybody in the company should already know how to do. But I digress. This is the part where I get excited and get on a soapbox, and I'm going to keep doing that over and over in the beginning of these, I am sure. But part of the reason I'm doing this as much as I am is because I'm training the AI, my own AI, with these transcripts so it can help me craft the message a little bit better for other people and other experiences so that the channel continues to grow because the message starts to change a little bit and it's more accessible to more people at more stages. So this is the early days of this channel where I'm doing this. So you can see how I'm doing it to a point where you just can't deny how it happened. And that's the whole point of this. It has to be undeniably useful, this particular technique. There can be no other way of using AI. Any other way of using AI is like, let's just drive a car in reverse and just go reverse the entire time just because we can. It's like, yes, you could, but it's not going to be the most useful way to drive a car. You can get a car from A to B going in reverse. it's just going to be a whole lot more effort for you. Why would you do that? And honestly, the car doesn't want to do it. It's not built to go that way. So instead, let's go forward with AI thinking differently, right? That's why we're doing this. That's why I want to connect with this. This is one of the few technologies that I can clearly see how it pulls us together, because social media is not. And that's because we have misused that technology as well. But this one, AI, can help to kind of correct some of that and bring back that connection stuff, including me creating an experience so that you and I can meet in Austin at wherever we're going to meet in hopefully a few weeks from now, it looks like. All right, let me get back to this. So the University Campus Commons area, the atrium, open light-filled space known for high-speed public Wi-Fi, student study spots, low-level buzz, okay, smells new carpet, blah, blah, blah. Host isn't touching the screen. There's the index cards. Also interesting, the index card thing. It's kind of cool. And then we're moving from helping people get stuck on stuff. So this is kind of interesting because now I already have an experience here, an idea of the physical props, which I hadn't considered. But this is where the automated thinking part comes in. Remember, I'm not looking for a copy and paste answer, and that's the myth. Everyone's chasing for this copy and paste answer so that AI does the work. AI is doing the work. It just helped me skip through a million thoughts that I would have had to have to arrive at physical props and be like, now I know I can use physical props like index cards. Again, these are the insights where I am literally crafting the experience for me. The experience for you is hopefully that you get kind of that, it's working. Like you can see this guy's getting something he's going to take some action on because it makes sense for him to do that. But remember, when I'm doing it for me, you could just do it for you. Just insert whatever the thing is you want. If you want to do a meetup, do it your meetup. If you want to do Lego builds, do Lego builds. If you want to do pretzels, do pretzels. If you want to do email series, do email series. Do whatever you want with this stuff. And again, if you're not quite sure how I totally get it, it's much easier to see somebody who has experience doing it, pop it in the community. When you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you already have access to the community. Just jump it in there and be like, hey, here's kind of what's going on, right? If you've tried something, it didn't work, definitely share that experience, because a lot of times it won't work exactly the same way. In the same way that I sometimes don't get the experience. The difference is I know what to do about it. So it's not like you're always going to have instant experience and everything's bliss. That's not the point. But you will have more useful experiences, and you're going to learn how to steer it as I am learning how to steer it. I'm showing you. So anyway, I'm there to help is what I'm trying to say. Pop it in the community. You can definitely email me, but pop it in the community if you can, because the more that we do this in public, the more that everybody else sees everybody else trying and doing stuff, sharing results that they got, the more likely other people who are sitting on the sidelines start to go, well, maybe I can do this too. Then they start experiencing, and now we're starting to roll, right? All right, so needless to say, I kind of got the idea here. I like the idea of being in a university setting, a little closer to the center of where I need people talking about things differently, and education is one of those sorely needed systems that is in a very, very, very old world that is disconnected from the new world that we are now in, which is the point. The world isn't changing; it has changed, and most of us are operating in an old world mindset. We are not changing with it, and education's a place where we can do that. So I kind of like that idea too. I'm going to see what the actual prompt did. All right, large wall, blah, blah, blah. Third floor of Austin Central Library again, which is fine. So now we're back to the library. And again, I'm not looking for AI to tell me, oh, go here, go there. I'm not trying to be manipulated by my AI, right? That's not what's happening. I'm just having it think through different things as I am quite literally experiencing thinking through those different things and going, yeah, this one feels a little right. This one feels a little less right. That, and by right, I mean useful, right? Not right and wrong. Just this one feels more useful. This one feels less useful. That's kind of the idea. It's less of room and more designated space, little modular couches and wheeled whiteboards. That's also useful because that means I can move it. They look out our Shoal Creek, the last of the day's night, turning in glass, which is kind of nice. Dozen people are gathered, mix of artists, developers, writers, and purely curious. Also kind of cool because I do want an eclectic crowd. I don't mind business leaders. I come from an entrepreneurial background myself. And I love my marketers and my business people and my solopreneurs and my freelancers. And there's the rest of the world that is out there, and you also need this. So that's kind of why this is Your Mind on AI exists. Hopefully it's kind of a place to exist for everybody. So if you're not getting experience that you want, that's in your unique world, throw it in the community. Let's try it out. If we can, we will. If it's something that we can do, I definitely will. All right, so pull the coaches. There's no projector screen, no podium. So We do have the touchscreen display, which is interesting. Host and you haven't plugged in yet. Reins open your bag. Quiet introductory chatter. Thanks for coming. Okay, it's coming in. Low effort, high flow. Again, am I going to say things like that? Probably not. But that's the experience that we're trying to produce, which is fine. Again, I'm not looking for copy and paste. This isn't about the AI telling me what to do and loading my lips for stuff. It's about me kind of getting the general idea and going, I got it. I know what to do. And that's kind of what it's like. AI takes you. It's like if you have a path in mind and you're like, man, I know 70% of this. And I kind of know the feeling of what it's going to be like at the end, but I have no idea what that last third is like. It's kind of dark. That's what AI can help you with, right? So I kind of have an idea of how to start a meetup. I kind of have an idea of what I want this meetup to eventually become. I'm not quite sure the bridge between the two, though. And that's what I'm getting now, because it's going through and it's giving me these different experiences, different perspectives of it. And I'm going, oh, if it was like that, it'd be really useful. Or this piece would be really cool. And my brain is now stitching together the last little bits of the different experiences that I now actually have in my head. Not knowledge, not thinking knowledge that I have to go think about what to do with it. Experiences that I am now synthesizing together into what is likely to become an actual useful experience because I'm going to do it. So as I'm going through here, lean forward, object, sync square polished reclaimed wood, laser etched is a large QR code. This is our entire that's so cool. Oh my God, I love this idea. This goes back to the props idea, physical props. Polished reclaimed wood. I happen to know somebody who can do this. Laser etched onto its surface is a large single QR code. This is our entire IT department. Pull out the phone's laptop, scan it. It'll take it directly to a shared interface. No login, no setup. I've already loaded our first prompt. That's pretty cool. I kind of like it because now it's an experience. That is a true weird interactive way of doing it. Again, I don't know if I do the wood block. I could obviously just pop it up on a screen. It's probably easier for people depending where they are in the room. But it is different. It's kind of cool. Especially if I could 3D print it using AI, which I probably could. That might be an experience we do in the future too. Why not? Because we can. That's the point. So I bypassed the password dance, fumble for the right URL. You can airdrop me the link, shuffle. Oh, that's great. The wooden block, beautifully simple and tactile, served universal key. A few taps on your phone, you mirror its screen to the public library. Okay, everyone, see this? Gesturing the screen displays the full text. Generate an image that evokes the feeling of the air in Austin on the first cool evening in October after a long humid summer. Do not show people, buildings, or the sky. Focus only on the textures and lights. Now it's giving me a prompt to actually start with it. Okay, I'm actually gonna do this. So we're gonna copy this prompt. Don't overthink it. You say calmly. Just hit generate. Okay, I'm gonna listen to myself here. So we're gonna go to new chat. This one I'm gonna stay with Flash because Flash has the little nano banana. This one says create images. So we're gonna do that. And I'm just going to pop that in, give us some space to see what happens or doesn't. Let's find out. As that is working, I'm going to go back. Don't overthink, you say, just hit generate, which I just did for a few seconds. The only sound is the ambient hum of the library, which is true because it's thinking, just like I'm doing in the background there. It's not a gasp or a loud wow. It's a low spreading murmur of collective recognition, a sound of private discovery happening simultaneously, which is experience. This is a very good description of what actual experience is like. It's a soft from a woman in the corner as her phone renders an image of light catching the condensation of the outside of a cool metal railing. A quiet chuckle from a man who gets a hyper-detailed image of live oak leaves, suddenly sharp and defined in the crisp air. Another person tilts their phone to show their neighbor an abstract image of dappled light on dark, damp pavement. So everyone's doing this from their phone. That's interesting because that is so much easier to make accessible than using what I'm doing right now, which is the desktop stuff. I like desktop stuff, but these meetups, not everyone's going to bring a laptop. Those that do could use them. Most don't have to and won't know to or think to. They will have a phone, which is why the QR code is going to work so much better. Again, this is me synthesizing experiences now. I've got the physical prompt idea. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but I like the QR code idea. I've got that index card thing, and I've got that whiteboard with the nodes, which I really do like that. Hey, let's just jump up. Here's how we do it, because it's kind of like an unconference style of doing that. Those of you that are in a previous life, I was part of measure camps, and they work like that. It's kind of what they call this unconference style, and this could be a cool way to do the meetup. The murmurs a signal. Everyone's result is different, yet everyone instantly understands the feeling the others are seeing. The shared experience is real, immediate, and personal. So now we start kicking into gear. So we start with something that's cool. We're going to experience something with AI. Quickly kind of mention that and be like, wow, that's really cool. And that is, we can do that over and over again. In fact, I'm going to be doing that with the community at automatedwith.tech, where the prompt, there's a whole sort of welcome series that'll come through, but I'm wanting to have users experience that kind of like as a ride, like, oh, now I'm at an amusement park. My community is an amusement park of fun AI stuff. Let's have some fun with it. And we're early days. Like right now, again, October 4th, that is not a fun community to be a part of. It's difficult to be a part of because it's just kind of a standard everyday community, but you're more than welcome to join. It's free. Just go to automatedwith.tech if you want to do that. But it's a friends and family experience, which is not a really great experience, but I'm going to be using AI to level that up. I just got far enough with that community to get here. So I actually have already been doing live streams. There's actually another YouTube channel called automatedwith.tech live streams, where you can see me doing the live streams weeks ago that got me to this part. So, and that's the whole point of this build in public, is to show that this is happening in real time as I'm actually recording it. Couple reasons, again, for training. So that the LLMs have this information, so that I have this information, so that you have this information. This is kind of why I'm doing it in all these different ways. It's also helped me craft the message as I'm going through. And I just wanted to show people so that nobody had any reason to say, well, here's why you can do this because at this stage you're here. And it's not. At this stage, I have nothing. There is no subscriber count. There is no list that I've got. I don't have anything. I know a few people in the industry for sure, but you know people in whatever your industry is, right? Just like you have people that you work with. That's kind of what I do. So I texted a few people, but that's it. I haven't gone out to anybody and said, hey, please mail your list or any of that stuff, because it's not ready for any of that. So I'm really kind of talking into the wind even now, which is okay, because that's how it's supposed to start. And this is the part of the experience that for me, I think is going to be just a whole lot of fun, because I'm going to be like, man, I remember talking when there was nobody I was talking to for hours and hours and hours. And kind of where I imagine experience that this might go. So anyway, time will tell on that. Instead of the conventional approach of bridging, host was the technology, the library, the public digital display, and the prop, and going through phones. I love that a lot. So at this point, I could continue on and I could say stuff like, actually, I'm gonna go back and generate this image and see what it did. But I could go back and say, oh, what do we think about, this, that, or the other thing? I can discuss ideas. And now you can do traditional sort of prompting. Not everything has to be experience. But once you get it to where you need it to go, you can sort of craft it. It's just that by that time, you probably have what you need. You don't need to do the old way anymore because you know the rest. Like, I don't need it to tell me, what is the information in the public library? I know where to go get that. I don't need that because I have to double check it anyway. I already know what I would do prompt-wise. I already know what I would do with the board. I already know this other stuff it needs me, so I don't need it to tell me something that I already know. So at this point, I'm good, honestly, on this one. This is perfect. This is the image that captures the specific autumn feeling, which is great because this is kind of what I guess my yard is going to look like in a little bit, but very cool that it did that. So again, we have, wow, that's really neat. Now that's also, by the way, the way that this is prompting itself. It's prompting using the sort of the theory behind latent experience prompting, which is why the image was not generate an image of, Austin. It was specific, a feeling of the air in Austin on the first cool evening. Do not show people, buildings, or sky. Only on textures and light that convey the sudden sense. Didn't say leaves, didn't say grass, but look at the detail, right? Does that feel like a cool autumn? It sure does to me. So that evokes an experience. That's super cool. Imagine that being a brand logo. Now, I'm not saying your leaves will be brand logo. I'm just saying, hey, experience what my logo might be, right? We can do some things like that as well. Anyway, we'll do that in future live streams because there's some cool things that we can continue doing. But I got what I need out of this. I am super happy, and you got to see the very first debut of a brand new gem, which again, I'm going to show you here, just how to get there. Again, this is your mindonai.com. It'll always redirect to what is publicly available. I'm not going to put this behind an email. There doesn't mean that eventually there won't be something like that, but this stuff I'm always going to keep free, so it'll always be publicly available. Just go to that site and you will see the links to get to it. This is the one that we just used. So use this because this is the one that is super, super useful to go through. And that's it. So with that, I will go ahead and wrap this one up. This is one on the shorter side. Look at us only going within an hour. I get in and out of live stream. I think it's the first time I've ever had a live stream that I've done within the hour. So anyway, thank you. Appreciate the time, effort, energy you have given it. Go enjoy your Saturday if you happen to be watching this on the weekend of October 4th when I'm actually recording this. And more likely, you are watching this in the future. And so with that, I just want to say thank you for being here, because I know right now I am talking to no one, and at the same time this entire thing was an experience for you because you're here. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming back for other ones, for sharing the experience with others, and honestly, jump in the community, pop a note in here, maybe link to this video and say this is the one that really you like this, and this about it, or something. Anything we can get in the community is feedback that will help guide the channel and make the experience better for all of us. But in order, and this is the first lesson, in order to improve our own experience, we have to participate in that. And that is why you need to be in the community. So even if you're like, hey, here's who I am, love this, really like stuff around this, great. Keep it generic, that's fine. You don't need to give personal details that aren't useful. Give me generic stuff, it's absolutely fine. Anything you're not comfortable with, don't say. Just give something back there. I promise you, I will be able to take that, because I'm going to use AI, and we'll be able to take that and guide the topics that you will more likely find incredibly useful experiences, so that you know how to do them and that you can share others. So with that, again, enjoy the weekend, and looking forward to seeing you in the community. And thanks again for sharing. This is Your Mind on AI. With that, I'll see you later. Take care.